sun, you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun? Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy?
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
Today is October 3rd, 2022. This is video number 1. I don't think I'll have time to do a second recording because I am picking up from, these are some tweets that I left on September 29. I just finished edit September 29 and I realized there's some tweets within the list that I didn't record, so I'm finishing them. Alright, so let's get started. New subscribers, welcome. This is the first tweet. This is regarding the Denmark prince, the second son, that they removed their his children's whatever they did. But let's read and find out some more. Prince Joachim of Denmark comments on his children being removed from the royal household and stripped of their HRH, prince and princess titles. Of note is the fact that the royal household tried to lie to the public about how this was executed, and Joachim refused to let the lie stand. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I feel like I share it. I don't want to waste my time, but or maybe because I watched it. And some of the thing that I'm feeling about this move is that, in my humble opinion, Charles probably asked for help. Make the Queen of Denmark do that. And then when Charles does it to Harry and his kids, that way he could point to the Danish and said, look, the Danish did it. It's not about racism. This kind of thing. This is my humble feeling about it. And then the Queen of Denmark went beyond that and said, I'm going to do this for you, but don't come and ask me for help anymore. That's my humble opinion, okay?
One eternity later.
So she went on and do all of this. Okay, let me read. I was given 5 days notice. I feel like I read that. I heard that you were told this in May. This is not correct. Quote, in May, I was presented with a plan which basically stated that when the children each turn 25, it will happen. Athena turns 11 in January. Wow. All right, let's see.
Har de tid til et par hurtige spørgsmål? Ja. Hvordan har de det med, at deres børn har fået frataget deres titler?
Det er vi alle sammen meget ked af det. Det er aldrig sjovt at se sine børn på den måde gjort fortræd og
See, I'm letting it play the way it is. Whoever speaks Danish could understand. But what I'm going to do after this tweet, I'm going to move to the recent one. I want to go, after I finish record, check my note to see if I had recorded some of the things within that list, because I think I record that. But I'm going to finish this tweet and then go to my recent one. And then if I see what's on my list is not there, and then I'll come back to some of those things on the list.
står selv i en situation, de ikke forstår.
Hvor længe har de vidst det?
Jeg fik 5 dages varsel.
Jeg har hørt, at de fik det at vide tilbage i maj. Det er ikke rigtigt.
I maj fik jeg forelagt en plan, som i det store hele gik på, at når børnene hver især fylder 25, så ville det ske.
As he speak, I'm here. I know it's Danish, but I don't understand the damn thing he said. Some of the thing that he says sounds like French and a little bit of English and part of it. Yeah, I think I did this because I remember saying the way he tilted his head, he resembled the Australian guy who claimed that Prince Charles and Camilla are his parents or something like that. I think I did it, but let's continue.
Athena fylder 11 til januar. Jeg fik 5 dages varsel på det her.
Hvordan har det her påvirket deres forhold til deres mor?
Det tror jeg ikke, jeg behøver at uddybe her.
Wow, he looks upset. Is he here? When asked how she felt, knowing her grandchildren felt ostracized, Queen Margaret struggled to find words to convey the current family dynamic, finally saying, quote, well, we'll have to see how you can, but I haven't seen it myself, end quote, before rushing inside. Okay, so that's what he said, the last words. Okay. Background info on the situation. Quote, the Royal House announced on September 28th, that seemed to be pretty too close with what's going on in the UK. The Queen's decision to remove Prince Joachim's children's title of Prince and Princess. Wow. Okay. Responding to the palace explanation that this will enable the youngsters to lead a more normal life, she added, quote, they will never get a normal life. If they do something very stupid, it will always come back on the family. Which is true. Right, so there's something right in the state of both Denmark and England, the stripping of birthright for the mixed race grandkids. Okay, there's me here. That was the 29. In my humble opinion, they sent her to do hers first. When KFC third does it, he can, yeah, that's exactly the same thing that I'm thinking from back then. He can point this out as to not have a race as an excuse. Teamwork, that is, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I did that. Alright, it's in one of my videos. So I'm gonna leave that list alone and go to the more current one, because I really think I did this, but I can't find the videos. I have to search for it. Alright, so let me go to the current one now. Alright, there's this here. Crown Princess Mary speaks about the title issue in the Danish royal family. So this is the Australian, okay, native who married the future king of Denmark. So what I also believe happened, in order for the Queen of Denmark to do what she did, all this is pure speculation, my humble opinion. What I feel that just happened is that the invite and uninvite that they did during the Queen's leading to her funeral was just an example to the Queen of Denmark and said, do it. Remove those grandkids' titles and stuff like that. Or else I'm going to show you what the media. They're using the media as some sort of a weapon.
When I lost my mum 23 years ago, you took me under your wing. You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force.
Okay, that's what I think. Go do it. I'm gonna give you a small example. And this, what they did, the invite and uninvite, and later on I'm finding out that the future king, where he went to school, there was some allegation that was made. Okay, this is exactly what I truly feel of why they did this. The Danish, okay, the Queen of Denmark did what she just did. All right, and then to give her a taste of how they could smear anybody in the Danish royal family. Okay, so they went after her. Okay, and did a small little example what they could do to tarnish their reputation and stuff like that. Okay, so they said, you see what happened to Meghan? We could do that to any of you. This kind of thing, because they went worldwide with Meghan. Pretty much anywhere you turn, the media and around the world is talking negative about Meghan. So they're using her as an example. Go do it or else. But that's my humble opinion. All right, let's see here. So there's a link here. I'll click it, but you guys could check it. It explained everything. Is it in English? Yes. I thought. It's not that much. Is it so much? Let me read a couple paragraphs. Let's see here. Crown Princess Mary speaks about the title issue in the Danish royal family. So October 2nd, which was yesterday, and today is October 3rd. All right, Denmark's Crown Princess Mary decided to comment on her mother-in-law's decision to strip one princess and three princes of their Danish royal titles and royal style. Last week, seemingly out of nowhere, that's right, out of nowhere, Queen Margaret declared that the four children of her younger son, Prince Joachim, will no longer have royal title. Yeah, this is too much of a coincidence, okay? Out of nowhere. All right, so they're doing that to help Charles, and unfortunately they're throwing some people under the bus in the process. And the worst thing is that the ones that they're trying to aim, which is pretty much Harry's kids, they don't care. But anyway, let's see. Initially, Margaret made it sound like this had been in the works for months and that everyone was well aware of the situation. Joachim and his ex-wife disagree with Margaret publicly. Wow. That's some mess going on about that, saying no, they either didn't know or weren't giving much notice. Something I appreciate is that this controversy hasn't been billed as quote, Crown Prince Frederick and Mary are orchestrating Joachim's demise. End quote. I mean, imagine how easy those, quote, palace intrigue, end quote, stories will be. So far, it just seems like an issue between Joachim and Queen Margaret. Okay, that might change though, especially if Crown Princess Mary continues to talk about it publicly. Wow. What I feel like, it seems like the queen, the future queen, the crown princess, the how do you call it? Her, what's her name? I forgot. The Aussie born. Looks like because of what they did to her, she may not agree with the queen. Some mess. And I think she should just be quiet. Let the in-laws deal with it themselves. Let's see here. Crown Princess Mary of Denmark is sharing her thought on Queen Margaret's decision to strip four grandchildren of their current royal titles, and revealed that her own children may not keep their titles forever. The Queen's decision, oh my goodness. The Queen's decision does not change the title for the 4 children of Crown Prince Frederick, who is heir to the throne, and Crown Princess Mary, Prince Christian, 16, Princess Isabella, 15, and 11-year-old twin, Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine, will both continue to be part of the royal household. Princess Mary spoke out about the news affecting her niece and nephews on Friday when she attended the opening of the 6th International Youth Conference, Imagine Youth Mental Health. Quote, "I can understand that it is a difficult decision to make, a very difficult decision to receive," end quote. Princess Mary told reporters, according to Hello magazine, quote, "Change can be difficult and can really hurt, but this does not mean that the decision is not the right one." She's agreeing with, obviously, that's all she could do. End quote. While Frederick and Mary's sons, Prince Christian is second in line to the throne behind his father, their other children may not keep their royal titles forever. Quote, well, I guess they're making the case for the people. Get rid of them so they don't need the title, so get rid of everybody. That's all. That's the way I see it. Quote, "We will also look at our children's title when the time comes," end quote. Crown Princess Mary, 50, said, quote, "Today we do not know what the royal household will look like in Christian's time or when Christian's time began to approach." Alright, I'll leave the rest. You guys could finish with it. It's only one paragraph left, but you guys could finish with it. Let's go back to Twitter. Alright, this here. "Mary, don't get involved with the in-laws. Family drama. This is like my first rule in marriage. Disengage." Exactly. There's me. I'm like, yep. Alright, Mary and Mary could be sisters. The brothers seem to share a type. Is she the one who was uninvited to the funeral? Yep, that's the one. If so, that means the mother-in-law is the one who said she must have been invited as herself came, and they don't care the effect on the kids. No, I think it's Charles who gave the Queen of Denmark a taste. I don't know. I truly believe what I've been sharing you. Okay, another Fab 4 gone to hell because of heir and spare due to selective process where one child and his kids get preferential treatment while the others is thrown on the trash heap of history. My opinion is that Margaret did this to take the spotlight. That could be another thing, to take the spotlight. That thing, yeah. My opinion is that Margaret did this to take the spotlight off Prince Christian. It's been revealed there was sexual abuse and bullying at his former school. His parents removed him as soon as the news broke. That's the thing here. This is the thing. The UK is digging. Okay? The UK is digging up the Denmark trash bin, pretty much. What kind of scandal they could put out to make them do what they want. This is it. I don't know. It may not seem. I could be 1,000,000,000% wrong. Okay? So this is what I think is happening here. Alright? Let's see here. It's been revealed there was sexual abuse and bullying at his former school. When did this come out? Is it recently after the Queen Elizabeth funeral? If this is it, that means the UK must have went and dig that up to show the Denmark people this is what we could do. Okay, his parents removed him as soon as the news broke. I'm guessing he's up to his eyeballs in that mess. Alright, so there's this making comparison with I guess Wallis Simpson. I don't know. There's that. Let's go to the next tweet. Okay, to all the Brits wondering why Americans are speaking on the royal family and their lies. You all sat back and watch as the royal family lies kill the only princess loved by the entire world, and we're not about to let you do that to Meghan and Harry. Royal family lie. All the little angry Brits are so cute. Truth hurts. Diana's blood is on your hands just as much as it is on the British royal family and the British press, who bought Wow, that's kind of strong. Who bought all those copies of the mail? Yeah, the British media does it because y'all buy it. Simply supply and demand. Wow. Okay, if you all stop buying those lying newspapers, they be forced to have to either shut down or pivot their tactic into actual fact reporting. You all are guilty. Wow. Okay, there's me here responding. I think it was to the main one. Thank you. I must add though, there were some Brits who spoke up. Very, very few. These Brits were a needle in a haystack. I did come across these few. Alright, so there's me sticking out for some of the Brits who were actually doing some pushback against the press, a disagreement with the press. Okay, I'm not even American, but I co-sign this message. I'm a Brit and 100% on the side of Americans who at least have the balls and decency to speak out on the disgusting royal family lie. I've also listened on US Space and been seriously impressed with Americans' in-depth knowledge of the royal family history. I mean, if you think about it, the American kind of background originated from the UK as well. Alright, the Brits that try to tell Americans that we know nothing about their royal family conveniently forget that we have a shared history. There it is. We have a shared history. That's exactly that. Let me go into this. Okay, I'm Scottish, then Brits, and I ally with American. I respect the royal family as a citizen, but I do not agree with the decision making. If it could be done to a royal family, his own blood, what would it do to me or my family? We are only servants. That's the key point. This is it. If they could do that to Harry and Meghan, what do you think about yourself? This is the thing. I've been saying this in some other videos. Okay, but why would you respect a family that thinks they are better than you and I, that expect us to fund their lavish lifestyle, a family that has repeatedly used powers to be racist and discriminatory, that exempt itself from the law we all have to abide by, etc. That's for them to deal with, because it's not my money. It's not my taxpayers' money that's going to them. Thank you. Sadly, this belief that we should respect people because of status of birth and title rather because of works has been deeply entrenched through centuries of dehumanizing, conditioning, brainwashed. Alright, the Brits that try to tell Americans that we know nothing about their royal family conveniently forget that we have a shared history. Okay, I read that. I'm also a Brit and side with Meghan 100%. Royal family lie. Okay, surely they are subject and servant depending what mixology you're coming with. Okay, after all, our founding fathers were Brits. That's it. Our laws are based on UK. We just don't believe in one family having all the power. The people. There's the okay, there's the heart. It's not an absolute monarchy like in the 15th century. I remember I was talking in one video. I don't remember which video it was. I must have said something, and someone in the comment section said they don't understand what I'm saying because you know, and down south or in the US in particular, I'm just paraphrasing, that the Brits are not how do you call this, are not involved, or not the government and all that, which is true. All right, we are complete, but they are trying to influence. I mean, they're not gonna come out and tell you this is what I'm doing. Alright, this is where they go into their tactic and stuff in the background so people don't know. They are still trying to influence their best interests into the US. I don't know if I had explained it in that sense in that particular video that had that comment, but when you look at what is it, the FBI is that was later on after that video, I come find out that the FBI is interviewing some Tory government who were trying to influence what is it, not Mexico, what's that, Puerto Rico, this kind of thing. I mean, I think the US does it as well in other country, but you're not, if you pay attention where you need to pay attention, you could see some of the things that's sort of happening in the background. None of them are gonna come and tell you this is what I'm doing. You have to be somewhat look into or think about it and say why this is happening when this should have happened. This kind of thing. Again, I probably may confuse you even more, but You have to read between the lines, so to speak. All right, to see why they doing certain things. Why will they get involved in certain things? This kind of thing. Okay, American history is entangled with British history. So yes, we see and understand royal family shenanigans. Okay, so, and this is why they don't want to teach history in the US. And then what I find out, okay, whoever live in the UK, from my understanding, they are shutting down libraries. I mean, this is like back in the 30s and 40s during Hitler's time. Shutting certain things down, school education. In the US, what they doing? They don't want to teach history. So why is that? Because their history are not that good. Alright, sorry, but must have spoken to on here don't. Okay, I don't understand that. Thank you. We have a lot of history together, you know. There's the laugh. I love this new parody. Funny. Living in America, enslaved descendant, we can see and smell racism mile away. That's the thing. If you haven't listened to Archetypes, take a listen. It's fantastic. There's the laugh. You lot are scary, seriously scary. Hey, the truth hurt. That's all. The truth hurt. All right, let me get out of this. Let's see what the main response to the tweets are saying. Speaking on, surely it's speaking about, at the very least, or talking about. Okay, Princess Diana meant more to the UK and the Commonwealth countries than she did to America. Just saying. What is that? I don't understand. Okay, really? Yet look at the way you allow her to be treated without speaking up to defend her. That's not going to happen a second time. Meghan is ours and Harry adopted us. We won't tolerate that kind of cruelty directed at our own. Oh wow, some really fighting work going on. Oh my god. Here's the thing, you can claim Diana's death was unintentional if you repeat the pattern that led to her death with another strong independent female. Wow, that is some very good thing here. I don't know if this will stand up in a court of law. All right, let's go into this. Okay, that's the thing I just read. Let's respond to it. Okay, there's so much evidence against the media and the palace staff who talk to said media. So there's screenshot of things. Okay, I think you're conflating two different things there. Yes, the media are terrible to everyone who marries into the family. So does that mean she accept the fact that the media is nasty to the people who marry into the royal family? That doesn't make sense. If it's not good, why would you accept it? So someone must put a stop to it. So many deaths have had happen because of the media. So because she married into the royal family, that means it's okay to get the abuse. I don't understand that, but I'm moving on. I'm very much in favor of the press respecting privacy. Okay, yet all their quotes come from royal sources, aid, and expert, which are the palace staff who constantly talk to the media.
Much of the negativity towards the couple is coming from within the royal family. The royal family and staff of the royal family are the ones that are very often leaking these stories to the press.
What is it? That other one, the royal family are the one who's leaking to the press. That thing, what's his name? Dan Wooten. I agree with you. It's terrible. It's ruined the mystic and majestic that the royals need to keep their gravy train going. I blame Charles and Di. Okay, but also Rupert Murdoch coming in and having no respect for privacy. But you guys are not fighting to differentiate that. Look at when they did that to Meghan. Meghan fought and said, no, you're not gonna intercept my letter and then make it public without my consent. This kind of thing. So, I don't know. Look like some of the UK are okay with it. What is it? There's some people who's committing suicide because the boundary that Harry been asking for, it's not there. Wow, she wasn't wearing a seatbelt. This is the excuse that they're saying. Remember, those people, whatever the palace wants to portray, whatever the narrative, this is what they're gonna say. She wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Okay, but yet, you guys don't even ask question further. What was it? There's another thing that they're putting out, that the guy was drunk. Who do you think? I don't believe it, because the guy knows exactly who he was gonna drive. Do you think he will go to work drunk? I don't think so. Alright, so they want to fool the UK? Fine. Oh, what is that? Okay, point blank. What is that? Firstly, facts. Princess Diana died in a car accident in France because her driver had, there's the thing here, drinking, and French paparazzi were following them. She had turned down British security. Secondly, the only lies being told are by Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan never touched this topic one bit. Not from my understanding. If they did, I didn't come across it. Nah.
When I lost my mum 23 years ago, you took me under your wing. You looked out for me for so long, but the media is a powerful force.
Isn't this all about breaking the cycle? Isn't this all about making sure that history doesn't repeat itself?
Too much tea, she called it. Let's see here. Okay, they're planning an accident in my car so Charles can marry again. Oh my God. See, there's the thing here. I'm telling you, the squad have receipt. The squad have receipt. Oh my God. Alright, there's this here. There's the letter. Something she wrote. Alright, let's see here. There's a 15 like, 1 retweet, and 1 comment. What did the comment say? There's that. Alright. Those derangers are really having a conversation with themselves, because each time they bring up something, they're claiming it's Harry and Meghan who said it. It's not Harry and Meghan. They keep on bringing that excuse, saying that maybe they should go under a tunnel in France. Alright, so they must have known something for them to keep on saying that. Alright, let's see here. You have a point. Lying has only revealed how toxic and dysfunctional that country is. I at least admit the dysfunctional behavior of my country, but never will I uphold anything that hurts me and my family. Royal family lie. Okay, lying. Oh my goodness, that's definitely a paid troll. Who's that? Okay, none of the one that we are not machine. So this must be a paid troll. Lying has only revealed who has lied and what newspaper told you this. It is the whole country you are annoyed by, or the toxic and manipulative right-wing press. Could you be more precise in your words rather than blaming an entire country? Let's see here. Oh my God, your royal talk to the media all the time. They even hire the media and encourage the lie. Prince Charles and Camilla hire Daily Mail executive. What? The squad have receipt. Oh my God, this is crazy. Crazy in a good way. By the way, you're now blaming the royals, which is better than blaming the whole Britain. So well done. That is a bit progress. Okay, I've always blamed the royal and the media. The original tweet is not mine, but when one remains silent, they are complicit. Well, what would you suggest I do? I already don't buy the newspaper. Alright, you're saying that, but who knows? How else is my silence being complicit? I'm not silent on Twitter. There's a laugh. I like to educate people who are being prejudiced and lazy in their use of language. I like Twitter to have quality debate. It stopped here. So lazy should be talking to the royal family. There's Harry and Meghan who were doing the work. They kicked them out of there. Alright, there's this royal family lie, period. And my theory is that Catherine and William paid the UK press to feed them stories about Meghan so they can make Catherine's image as distinguished from Meghan as possible, and not having. And the last video on the 29th I was editing, there's 2 tweets, and the squad put together a video, Catherine's, her background, how she became married into the royal family, and then there's one of Meghan's background to show the distinguished. This is the thing the Rangers are trying to do, to make it seems like Catherine had a different upbringing, okay, as if Catherine's upbringing is like Meghan's, not like Meghan, like a rich and whatever. They had money, something like that. But they don't want to embrace her true background. Unlike Meghan, who embraced her background and makes something of herself, you could see the progression of stuff. And Meghan never ever denied her upbringing. Like, you know, she didn't have money, she didn't have stuff. She embraced all of that and showed us her progression to what she has become. Alright, so there's more coming. Let me move on. Oh my god, that was the 2 tweet, actually 3 tweets now. Next tweet. If this is genuinely the case, it won't be long before the name is out there. After all, the list of suspects isn't long. How many people in British society are untouchable? Alright, there's this here. Investigator who revealed Jimmy Savile's sick crime says he is working with police on child sex case against a very significant person who is untouchable and may only be named when he dies. Wow. Who could that be? Wow, wow, wow. And I think in some shape or form, I will not be surprised. You know, let me not get into that. I'm keeping that thought. All right. No one should be above the law, especially when it comes to crimes involving children. Exactly. There's me responding to Joanne here. Oh, my dear God. Meanwhile, a child is probably being victimized. Baggage for God. Okay. There are more than one pedophile in the British royal family. Oh my God, what the hell? Chucky, he sold his younger son and his family so he can keep his dirty deeds a secret. Oh my Lord. Let me read some few and then I move on. I skipped that one. G, I wonder whose name will be revealed. I'm just kidding. We all know who the culprit is, Meghan Markle. Since moving to England, she's becoming one-woman crime spree. It's not funny, but you get the sense. Apparently, there isn't a crime that she hasn't committed yet. Fear not, she'll get around to it eventually. That's the rolling eye. 8 people like it. Queen Consort Camilla's authorized biographer, the pedophile and enabler Angela Levine, said she kept quiet about sexual predators Savile because he was untouchable. So not saying it could be Rex sovereign immunity, but untouchable seems very subjective. That video, I did share it in one of those tweet videos. Alright, Royal family member was investigated as part of pedophile ring before cover-up, ex-cap says. Wow. The former officer claimed the investigation was shut down for national security reasons. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if it's in that video I never share where anonymous, oh my God, they had so much receipt, is that they destroy a lot of documents. So I'm wondering if, I don't know. And I think I said in one video, one thing, the only way we will know some of this stuff is there's one decent police who is brave enough to make copy of all of these documents and save it somewhere off from people's hand, and maybe 1 or 2 people who knows about it when the time comes to just release it. Okay, if this is true, then he is putting it out there for 2 reasons. 1, he is protecting himself as he feels threatened. 2, he is silly and wants people to know where to look should he turn up dead. All right, let's see one comment here. 1 of 2 reasons. All right, she correct herself. Let me move on to the next one. Next tweet. Quote, it's difficult not to see the racism or to explain away the vitriol for Markle, the drowning relentless persecution as anything but racial prejudice. Again, I bookmarked this to share with you. I'm not even gonna read the article. It's British Vogue. I still have issues with British Vogue, especially with Inusu guy. I don't know, whatever his name is. When was that? October 1st. Did I do that? Is it pop up on my timeline again, or is it another one, or is the same one? Go one step further and say that it's the royal family racism that is mirrored by British people. Let's see this one. Prince William Charles leaked news to Harry Meghan's exit to divert attention. Exit details were leaked to the press by none other than Prince Charles and Prince William. I mean, they're doing this, I mean, they're using the media as a form of weapon, but eventually it's gonna come back and bite them in the ass. And this is why I'm praying for the Princess Diana's grandchildren who left behind over there, because this is not healthy. This is not a healthy way of moving forward. But at the same time, Charles trained William to be that way as well, because I have that screenshot, the article that I came across by accident. It's not healthy. Oh my God. And thank God they didn't train Harry on that one. Well, let me leave that alone. These people are crazy. The author states that the father-son duo decided to give away the information to get the media's attention diverted from another royal scandal. Again, this is why I said what's happening to Denmark is a way for where the Queen changed the those children's titles and all of that. All of a sudden, I think it was a pressure from Charles to do that, because he's gonna do it to Harry. Now, the word that was going around was due to racism, so he doesn't want to be seen as it was racism, when in fact it is racism. Okay, so that's that. And then you have the daughter-in-law, the one who married to the future king, got involved, and I think she got involved only to take the pressure away from the Queen, because it's none of her business. You know, all of these diversion. These people, I don't know, they love mess, and they love to create mess, and they like to put themselves in mess, and then they want people to forget about the messes that they created. But anyway, let's get back to the original. Right. He also claimed that the palace staffers had also used Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein's scandal to drive Harry and Meghan out of the family. Hawthorne wrote that William and Charles made their team give away stories about the Sussexes around the same time when the press was pointing its guns at Andrew over his continuous ties with Epstein. Again, I don't know. These people, they know this thing is not good, but they continue with it. So the cycle continues. Totally correct. We've seen the racism from Brexit. Is definitely there. Yes, definitely racism, more evident. And this is why Charles doesn't want people to think that what he's about to do to Harry's children is due to racism, when in fact it is racism. More evident now than ever with the ongoing persecution, harassment, and stalking by the British tabloid, Meghan and Harry never got the protection from the royal family as they should have. Alright, let's continue. Racism from Brexit. Also, not wanting to be ruled by Germany is racist. Okay, well, I'm loud and proud then. Alright, it's not a response to the color of the skin. This is the narrative that they want to shift. Okay, they're shifting the narrative. It's not about that. It's not this, it's not that. You see, this is the continuation of stuff. All right, the connection. They divert to how did the Danish thing is coming on my timeline. Why is the British media talking about the Danish thing? Why? Okay, when it has nothing to do with the royal family. Why is the UK tabloid, okay, it's talking about it and it's coming on my timeline and the squad are sharing it? Because they want to divert the tension. Charles hasn't done it to Harry and Meghan yet. They haven't. But they're talking about the Danish, you know, stir the pot, okay, saying this is what's happening here. Now, when Charles does it, he's gonna say, look, I'm not the only one who's doing it. Look at the Danish people who's doing it. So I'm gonna do that. This kind of thing. Okay. And the thing is that what they want to do is that there's a platform that Charles wants to create, that pedestal kind of thing, where royals, the title of royals, this specific class system only belong in that pedestal. This is the mentality of colonialism, in my humble opinion, that he's trying to continue. So now he's stripping away some of the royals who saw, okay, you know, they don't take the royal as the way, that pedestal kind of thing mentality. So he's stripping them away. So now Charles wants that pedestal to remain there. So he's stripping away certain group. Okay, the group that he wants to remain and that pedestal is getting smaller. So he differentiates, strip people of titles and all of that. So he's making it clear he wants that pedestal, that special interest, that social class that he's part of should remain as is. In a way, I think those people that they're stripping away their title, they should be more than happy, because when angry people that colonial time that did them so much wrong come after, then they'll go after those people in that pedestal. this kind of thing. They're making the case for the people. I don't know. I hope I make sense on some of the things that I just said. All right, there's only one thing about culture and tradition. It is the root. It runs deep and we all have it. Meghan knew what she was up against, but she forgot that the world has moved on and is too busy to be revolving around her. I'm sorry, when did Meghan said the thing around her? She wanted to help. I thought she was there to help. She understands the situation. She understands the assignment. The few seconds, I call it few seconds, she was in the UK. Look all the work that she did to sustain, to help those charities help sustain themselves. So where did Meghan wanted things to evolve around her? Okay, her is a case of Pride and Prejudice. Let's see here. Let's go into that too much conversation. I take you have in-depth conversation with her about her expectation, or is this Angela Levine on a burner account? This is not Angela Levine. Do you have anything to do with her? But okay, but my take is that you can't eat your cake and have it too. Why is Meghan even in that conversation? Meghan is not even on social media. Everything you do affect the people around you. Well, she was helping. Her work speaks for itself.
I know the fact that she'll be really unbelievably good at the job part of it as well is obviously a huge relief to me, because she'll be able to deal with everything else that comes with it.
I think what's been really exciting as we talk about the transition of this out of my career but into the role is that, as you said, the causes that have been very important to me I can focus even more energy on, because very early out of the gate I think you realize once you have access or a voice that people are willing to listen to, with that comes a lot of responsibility, which I take seriously. And at the same time, I think in these beginning few months and now being boots on the ground in the UK, I'm excited to just really get to know more about the different communities here, smaller organizations who are working on the same causes that I've always been passionate about under this umbrella. And also being able to go around to the Commonwealth. I think it's just the beginning of a...
There's a lot to do.
Really?
There's a lot to do. Let's get to work.
This is more than a cookbook. And what I mean by that is the power of food is more than just the meal itself. It is the story behind it. And when you get to know the story of the recipe, you get to know the person behind it. And that's what we're talking about in terms of coming together to really engage and talk and to be able to celebrate what connects us rather than what divides us. That, I believe, is the ethos of Together.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. It's very exciting and it looks beautiful, and I'm sorry if you were waiting for a bit in this sunshine though. It's pretty nice to have such good weather. So I thought that it would probably be helpful for you to understand how we ended up here today and why this collection was so important to conceive based on the visits and what I was seeing when I was on site at SmartWorks. And let's maybe go back a little bit. Should I hold for sound? They're grateful back there. When I first moved to the UK, it was incredibly important to me personally to be able to connect with people on the ground doing really important work,
which I take seriously. And at the same time, I think in these beginning few months and now being boots on the ground in the UK, I'm excited to just really get to know more about the different communities here, smaller organizations who are working on the same causes that I've always been passionate about.
And one of the places that I went to very early on was SmartWorks. Now, funny enough, and purely by coincidence, it was just a year ago at this same time that I was working on a project in Grenfell with this women at a community center.
No, you know, we're a fantastic team. We know we are, and we hope to, you know, over time, try and have as much impact for all the things that we care about as much as possible.
I am very excited about that, yeah.
So don't say she wants the world to evolve around her. So does the same thing apply to Harry too, where the world should evolve around Harry? Because Harry and Meghan are doing exact same thing. Okay, is it now that is drawing on her that her children are losing their inheritance? And this is the thing. Yeah, it has to be one of the royal rights they pay, because they're trying to, this is where they want to get to. okay, that her children don't have that, because Harry and Meghan are really establishing her children's vote, because Harry even said that it doesn't matter what you grow up.
But what I remind him is that no matter what you want to be when you grow up, it's your character that matters most. And nothing would make his mum and me prouder than to see him have the character of what we see before us today. You.
Whatever they choose, Harry already put that out. Whether I truly believe when they were in the UK during the Queen's funeral, they had that discussion with Charles. Charles was trying to blackmail him and said, fully my humble opinion here, all right, if you don't do this, then we're gonna do that. Harry probably said, go ahead, do whatever you want. All right, so now they're making it seems like Harry is cherishing it the same way that Charles is sharing it, when in fact it doesn't. This is the things that they cherish so much, the royal family, those titles and all of that. This is why I be telling you, they making it seem like it's air and water when it's not. It's not air and water. So Harry probably told them, whatever you want to do, just do it. So Charles is pissed about that. I'm telling you, I truly believe this is what happened. I'm not there. I never been in that circle, so I don't know, but I'm just sharing my humble opinion. So Charles is pissed that Harry doesn't give a shit what he does with the kid's title. So this is why they stirring all this BS thing. The people who actually cherishes, the Danish grandkids and all of that, who probably cherish it, are pissed about it. They're throwing them under the bus when Harry and Meghan doesn't give a shit. That's what I think. See, the thing is that Harry and Meghan are establishing themselves. They are creating their own inheritance for the kids to have. They're not relying or depending on the royal family. The royal family, the things that they have, is majority of them are stolen goods. Majority of them are stolen goods. So I think Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan, is pretty happy that she's not associated with the royal family when it comes to things like that. So they both are hard workers. They're creating their own inheritance for the kids to have. Look at Archwell, is already named after pretty much Archie. So if the kids, when they get older, they want to continue doing what Harry and Meghan are doing, hey, it's for them. They don't need the royal family. So I don't know where this person is coming with all of this. This is what Charles think. Disassociating the kids, Harry's kids, from the royal family. But what Meghan and Harry, in my humble opinion, are doing is really creating their own things for the kids. Show the kids how to be a hard worker, how to produce your own thing, because Meghan grew up on working hard. You want something, work for it. So this is what Harry and Meghan are teaching, I think. In my humble opinion, this is what they're doing. I don't think they're gonna be sitting around or crying waiting for the royal family to give them a piece of whatever. We already know they're not gonna get anything. So, but anyway. So there's this here. Is it now that it is drawing on her? How do you know? Harry, Meghan, the only time we heard about this was at the Oprah interview, where Meghan ever mentioned about title. Ever since then, I don't hear a damn thing about it. Alright, so how do you know this is how she feels? That her children are losing their inheritance and wood. Harry made it clear that it's their character. It doesn't matter what they become. This is why Harry left, so they could make something of themselves. Okay? Let's see here. I asked, because you are a parodying tabloid rhetoric, how pompous and ridiculous you sound making declarative statement about what Meghan thought. Exactly. As for having cake and eat it, damn right, she has a buffet of cake and Montecito washed down with homemade lemonade. No haterade. That's a good one. Feeling good. Okay, Mama protect these two evil worms and trolls are still campaigning for hate against them. Alright, so that's that. They're trying to that's a troll, definitely. Alright, this is why they left. If they really wanted to cherish that pedestal that Charles is claiming to have, in certain way you could say yes it is, but I don't think Harry and Meghan care about it, because Meghan bought herself up, make herself a millionaire, okay, with her hardworking thing. So she wants her kids to be able to do that themselves as well. But you guys are just cherishing those tabloids, the imaginary stuff, things that you guys kill for. Due to history, yes, colonial time, kill for to have what you have now, when in fact they can't even move a freaking tray. All right, they can't even move a freaking tray by themselves. So Harry and Meghan wants to make sure her kids can do things their own way, make their own millions where they don't have to kill for it. All right, next tweet. What was the Hun Mary Morrison doing at the state reception if she was only a lady in waiting to the Queen and not a royal worker? Okay, so she circle. I don't know those people, but okay. So they're saying here, this is the lie that they're putting out there. It only working well, but they're saying, how come she's there? Okay, I don't know who's who, but okay. But who's this guy? Charles is shaking hand, making business deal probably. Okay, she's certainly not a working royal. They make up rules as they go to fit their agenda. Exactly. She was the Queen's servant and is now not working for the firm, but is invited. The King's son and wife was not there because they also are not working for the firm, but is a title blood relative, was not invited. The mind's boggling. Okay, I knew Charles was lying. They wanted to play heads game with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The thing, again, I agree with this person, but the thing is that Harry and Meghan don't care. That's the thing. They're fighting with themselves, I think. The firm, I think, is fighting with themselves because Harry and Meghan don't give a shit about that. They just let them play with their own imaginary, with their own imagination. Why were the royal family even working the day before the funeral and smiling for a photo of the Fab Four instead of mourning? That's the thing. Or waiting on Charles. Okay, it's working royals only. Goddamn, this executive level business. I'm laughing at the GIF. Let's go to the next one. Okay, it's 4:22. 5:30. I have to wake up the kids. All right, next tweet. There's this here. They have got to stop sending those two anywhere. If the Caribbean tour was anything to go by, there's the laugh. They leave independence in their wake. There's this here. She retweeted that. The street or Cardiff are bouncing for Andy Wells. May Strident. Okay, I cannot read that. I don't know what is that. 8 seconds. So there was a march in several places, Wales and some other places, who wants their independence from the Brits. So this was one of the tweets that popped up on my timeline. I think they need to send Jared and Ivanka, PNP of Wales, to every Commonwealth country, and maybe we'll get the monarchy abolished faster that way. Okay, OMG, INJ. Okay, I don't know. They should be sent to Australia next. Okay, there are plans for them to visit Australia. It was mentioned right after they were giving their new titles, but then again someone leaked that Fred and Gladys were planning to visit Australia as their first overseas tour as king and queens. So we'll see how it plays out. Oh my god, imagine being the self-appointed prince and princess of a region that wants nothing to do with you. One trip there and they are in the street. What? Thought William and Kate is the secret weapon to secure the next 100 years of British monarchy. The squad. They're singing my favorite song, quote, "Hit the road, Jack, don't come back no more." And apparently hordes are happy parading people. No, send them everywhere. Exactly. Will and Kate are bad omen for the monarchy. That's something I said in one of my videos. When they keep on doing this kind of thing, when their own country when the UK, I don't know, I guess the UK don't mind being subject to them, but the other places they are head of state or get them out of there. If the UK decided to get them out of there as well, where are they going to go? And the thing is that they continue the same mentality. You would think they change. At least Harry, you know, have already made his apology and wants to move forward and wants to change.
My wife said recently that our generation and the ones before us haven't done enough to right the wrongs of the past. I too am sorry. Sorry that we haven't got the world to the place that you deserve it to be. Institutional racism has no place in our societies, yet it is still endemic. Unconscious bias must be acknowledged without blame to create a better world for all of you. I want you to know that we are committed to being part of the solution and to being part of the change that you are all leading. Now is the time, and we know that you can do it.
At least they'll open their doors for him, but the others, I don't think they will want them. I've been saying this. I'm surprised it's happening now, because there were back then, way back then, before the Queen died, I saw the hint of this was leading to that. But things is gonna get worse for them. But they're not seeing the sign. They don't want to see reality. That's the thing. This is another tweet again that come on my timeline. Anyone notice how the royal rats are super quiet about this march for independence from UK and Crown? Look at all those people marching out there. Independence. Oh my God. This is very moving and telling. And I think when before the COVID, there was the hint of that. And this is why some of these countries allow COVID to come in and to make those rules to prevent people from going out to do this. I'll create another video because I'm already an hour. Let's do a prayer. Prayer, I guess, for independence. I was looking for a picture for my thing. Prayer for independence and let's say safety. Let's remove the independence and safety. 440. So I have enough time to do. Let's see if there's okay. Powerful prayer for independence. Psalm 91. Turn our hearts toward the family of nations, to understand the ways of others, sensitive to one another's differences, offering friendship and finding safety. All right, let's do an image. I want something. Let's do this one. Oh, it's too small. It's too small. When I'm editing, I could enlarge it, but right now I can't. Oh my God, they're all small. Let's do this one. Prayer for my mom, prayer for health. Okay, let's stick with that because all the others seems to be very small. Jesus, my great healer, please bring health to my mother. Fill her with vitality so that she breathes easily and walks effortlessly on this earth. Maybe there's someone who's watching my videos who's going through that. May your family, whoever, your loved one, be well. May you heal her wound and protect her from further hurt. Gracious God, I ask this with a passionate and loving heart. Please shield my mother from pain, just as she has shielded and protected me. I ask this in your awesome name. Amen. You know, for some reason, I thought of Miss Doria. Oh my God, that woman must have gone through silently. We don't know, but I don't know how she stand strong to support her daughter, because this cannot be easy for her. All right, so maybe that meant for Miss Doria. I don't know. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And that's it. I'm gonna do video number 2 before my kids get up. It's 4:42 right now.
For me, it's an added member of the family. It's another team player as part of the bigger team. And you know, for all of us, all we want to do is be able to carry out the right engagements, carry out our work, and try and encourage others and the younger generation to be able to see the world in the correct sense, rather than perhaps having a distorted view.